The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. Thank you
Good.
so much for joining us today for the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Realty Marketing Review with a special guest for our Forever Concierge powered by MoveEasy. It is my pleasure to introduce Katie Scheibel. Did I say that correctly, Katie?
Shabali, good try. It's all good, Shabali.
Shabali, that's so funny. I just referred to you as Katie. So, Shabali, good to know. Who is our senior customer success manager with our partners at MoveEasy. So, thank you so much for being here today, Katie, and it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Stacy. I'm so excited to be talking with you all. We are so excited to just do a nice overview of Forever Concierge. So some of you may already know about it, and that's great. This may be the first time for others, but we have some exciting things that we actually just recently launched. So I think everybody will get something very good out of today's session. So once again, Forever Concierge, powered by MoveEasy. This is your moving and home management system for life that you get to provide to your clients for free. So today we are going to be talking about the value of Forever Concierge. How is this going to help with my business? What can I do to generate, new leads, make sure to stay top of mind, all of that good stuff. So we're going to talk about how it can help with your business. We're also going to go through the client dashboard. So as I mentioned, there's a few new things that we've just added. I'm going to cover those today. And then we will cover the agent dashboard. Now, the good thing is there's not much you need to do, but there's a couple things you can to make sure that you're getting this front and center to all of your clients. And then, of course, we're going to do a Q&A session. So go ahead and ask those questions in the questions box or the chat. Stacy and I will be taking a look at those and making sure to cover them later. All right, so the first question we always get is, why use Forever Concierge? Now, the NAR does studies every year asking clients how often will they actually work with their agent again? So will they actually work with their agent again? And 82% of clients say, yes, it was a great experience. I definitely use them again. If I'm ready to buy or sell again, I'd probably tell my friends and family as well. But only 30% actually remember your name after a year. Now that's crazy to me because this is likely one of the largest transactions of their life. And so for them to forget your name as a sales professional, there's something that's missing. And how can we bridge that gap? So first and foremost, you'll be able to stay top of mind with your clients. Everything is branded to you as a sales professional. You're able to make sure that your clients know all of these things that will help them within that move and home management process. Because once we get into a home, there's always a lot of things that we need to do. So you're always going to be front and center with that experience. You'll be able to offer that same white glove service to everyone. So whether you're selling a $50,000 home or a $5 million home, every one of your clients will have that same white glove service, a dedicated concierge to help them through all things related to their home. Now you can use this to get new clients. So imagine adding this to your listing presentation, because what are we doing at a listing presentation? We're trying to sell ourselves. We're trying to say, if you work with me, this is what I will provide for you. This is how I stand apart as a sales professional. And so adding that as a value proposition into your listing presentation will go that much further to help you win new business. And then that repeat and referral business. So I know that in talking with sales professionals across the country, I'm always asking, what is the majority of your business from? And many say a good 80% comes from that repeat and referral business. So the ability to create an exceptional experience so that you can make sure when your clients are ready to buy or sell in 5 years, 7 years, they're going to remember your name. But also, most of those clients know at least 3 people looking to buy or sell within a year's time frame. And so how can you make sure that you get that business? And that's having these type of tools to support you and to help you through all of that. And then ultimately with that, you're going to be able to show your clients that you're willing to go the extra mile, that you're standing apart from others around you to support them, not just through the transaction, but well beyond that through their home management. All right, so what are those benefits for homeowners? Well, first and foremost, they'll be able to access the most comprehensive move and home management program at no cost for life. So you'll be able to provide that, hence Forever Concierge. You'll be able to provide that at no cost for your clients. They're going to get that dedicated personal assistant that will provide them that white glove service. And that is one person. So they will actually be able to build a relationship with them and make sure that they're getting helped no matter what, whether it's today because they're moving or 5 years now down the line because they want to see if they can save money or they want to get in line with a contractor or whatnot. They'll be able to do that with their concierge. They will also be able to save up to $2,000 of unparalleled deals for equipment, gift cards, and discounts. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but there's so many ways that we're able to really support your client's bottom line and not just save them time, but ultimately money when it's all said and done. And then you'll be able to make sure that your homeowners have access to these home pros through web, through their concierge, and actually through an app as well. If we have time at the end, I'm going to definitely show you guys that. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into those benefits for agents. So once again, you're staying top of mind, but more importantly, you're staying relevant with your entire sphere of influence, not just those that are moving, but those that are current and past clients for life. You know, I always joke around about the pumpkin spice latte email that, quite frankly, every sales professional sends. I've got 5 in my inbox, but I live in Seattle, so I've got a Starbucks down the road. No, I don't want that. I want something that's going to help me as a homeowner. What can I do to ensure that I'm doing what I need to do as that homeowner? And ultimately, you're staying top of mind so that when I am ready to buy or sell again, you're my sales professional of choice. Now, again, you can stay engaged through across all these different channels. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but that is web, email, mobile, and it's all branded for you. So again, your brand is following your client throughout the whole experience. You'll be able to easily add and manage all your local connections. So you can work with your office managers to get some of those added to ensure that they have that top tier provided connections and local connections there. And then ultimately, this is my favorite feature, that it's not just free for your clients, but it is free for you as well for life. So your amazing brokerage has provided this tool that you get to put in your tool belt to really help sell yourself and generate that business. Now, vendors and core services. Now, this can be added at, again, that office admin level, but the idea here is that when you're in real estate, you're building connections all the time. In fact, when I've traveled across the country, there is a point in time where I had met somebody and they talked about the job description of a sales professional. And they said that sales professional builds communities. That's powerful. You all are doing that. You are building communities. You are bringing families in. You are supporting businesses. You are doing all of those things because of your job. Your job is so incredibly important. And with that in mind, you can actually work to bring some of that business back. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you have some of those trusted professionals that you love to work with, then you can, reach out to your office admins and whatnot to make sure that they can do kind of their due diligence to ensure they're bonded, licensed, all of that good stuff. But ultimately, we can try to drive business back there. And then that gives your clients that top tier service without any time or effort. So all of this is just one of those systems that works with you and for you, and not something that you have to be in all day, every day. It's just really understanding the value proposition. All right, so let's talk about the move process. So when you talk with people across the country, moving tends to be one of the most stressful events that you can deal with. And so with that, we want to support them through all of that. So we also know buying a home is very stressful, or listing it. And so when your client is ready to move, there's a handful of things. So they'll be able to access any of those core services at the brokerage level. So they'll be able to bring business back to the brokerage, back to the brand, back to your name. Now they can access all trusted professionals that have been added, and things like mail forwarding and changing your driver's license, those things that maybe your client isn't necessarily thinking about, but they'll be able to work through that within their online dashboard. setting up internet, TV. Now, if you haven't sat on the phone with Xfinity for a whole weekend, lucky you, because if anybody knows that experience, and it is absolutely terrible. Now, imagine you're able to provide your client with the ability to set up their internet and TV with their concierge in the matter of 15, 20 minutes, and that's it. They're not going from support rep to support rep. They are doing it with their concierge. Not only that, but they can work with their concierge to set up utilities. That thing that, quite frankly, sometimes you forget to do or you don't know how to do, especially those first-time homeowners. That whole process of what are the things I need to do, they'll be able to do that here in FOREVER Concierge. And also movers. Now, when it comes to movers, we've all heard of those horror stories, and we want to do our best not to create such an experience. So we actually go through a process of vetting them. I'll talk about that later. But we all know that any part of the moving process, if it goes south, if you will, that reflects off of you as an agent. So being able to partner with FOREVER Concierge and have this as a tool, then you'll be able to help your brand in that whole process. And then when it comes back to them ready to buy or sell again, once again, that repeat and referral business, there you are. All right, post-move services. So once your client is in their home, there are a ton of things that likely might need to get done, whether it's right when they get in that home or 5 years down the line. So imagine you're in here and you start getting all your furniture within your house, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, my decor doesn't match the paint, or the electrician, I need an electrician because things are going wrong, or landscape or roofer, all of that stuff. So this is where your brand can be a part of that post-move service, that home management side, so that you are top of mind at all times. Now, I talked about that multi-channel access, so that branded concierge site. So it's branded to you as a sales professional. I'm going to walk through that, what your client will experience. And then we have the live concierge, so they can actually call their concierge. They can text them. They can email them. They can do any of that and build that relationship. And then there's a ton of branded emails as well. So what does the process look like? Now, when that listing, so I want you to listen up, because if you have a listing impending or under contract right now, you're definitely going to want to hear this. So when that listing goes under contract, that is what starts triggering this. So first, you'll actually get an email that just says, hey, congratulations on your transaction. We're about to invite your client, and you'll be able to disable that. I'm going to show what that looks like. But 48 hours later, your client's going to get an invitation from you that says, I'm so excited to give you access to this free service. Go set up your account. They can click on the Get Started button, and away they go with their online dashboard. They'll also be assigned to their concierge. And so their concierge, that team will reach out to your client just to check in. How can I help you? Do you need help setting up utilities, internet, cable? Do I need to help you with movers? How's all those trusted professionals? What can I do for you? And so they'll be able to work with them. What's really fabulous about that is on your client's dashboard, they'll actually get to see who they're working with. So it's a real person and all that. Now, one of the questions we tend to get is, well, how do clients actually use the service? Do they use the online platform? Do they use their concierge? What does that look like? And it tends to be a mixture of both. So what that means is that we're able to meet your clients where they're at, wherever, when it comes to technology. Now, what should you do? If you haven't already, make sure you've activated your account, that you have access to your agent dashboard so that you can make sure to take care of that. If you have some of those professionals that you'd like to be added to the platform, definitely reach out to your team so that they can vet them and ensure that those top tier service providers have been added. And then this is key to everything, okay? Inform your clients, because I promise you, if your client gets an email from you that says, hey, you've got this access to this awesome, free, inclusive concierge service, I promise you that they're going to reach out to you and say, what is this? Is it a scam? Should I open it? All that good stuff. So just make sure that you inform your clients. so they know what to expect. Now, before I dive into the actual presentation, the walkthrough, the demo, we have a world-class support team that is here to help you. So if you have any questions, if I'm talking too fast or you're unsure after we get off this webinar, reach out to our team at help@moveeasy.com. Your clients also have their own support team at customerservice@moveeasy.com, and then that phone number. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into the demo in and of itself. So first and foremost, when your transaction goes pending, this is what you will see. So you're going to get an email that just says, hey, congratulations on your transaction. We're about to invite your client to this free dashboard. Now you'll be able to see who their agent, their concierge is. So this is going to be Zane. And then all the things that we can do here. Now at the bottom, there is this disable invite. Now there are times where it doesn't make sense for your client to be invited. That could be a land transaction, an investor, or that one client that just doesn't want something of yours, and that's okay. You can disable that invite. But if you don't, 48 hours later, your client is going to get that invite from you as the agent. So again, it's branded to you as an agent. So your name will be here from your email, and it will look something like this, where they can click on get started and they can get access to their dashboard, or they can even just schedule a call today with their concierge and just call it good. Now, when they click on get started, there's going to be a few things that they ask. First, it's going to be just checking in to make sure that their password's all set, and then their moving addresses are there. So they're just confirming all that information or adding it if they don't. And then boom, they'll be able to get in there. Now, I am actually in a dashboard where somebody has been in the home for quite some time. And so there'll be a couple different elements to this that we'll talk through, but most of this will also show up for your client that has just moved. So here they'd see their current address, their new address, and their move date. When they come down, they'll actually see who their concierge will be and make sure to reach out to them and all that good stuff. So that is definitely something that's really powerful. They'll be able to see any of those trusted professionals. They can add documents. They can see what type of details they need. There's blogs, all of that good stuff ready for your client right away. Now, I talked about core services. Now, a lot of times when they're in that move process, they've probably already done some of these things, but if they haven't, they will have the ability to actually set up their home warranty, their mortgage, their title and settlement, all of that good stuff, so you can direct them here. We also have the ability to help your clients with insurance. So if they need some quotes, they can get those instant quotes. Now, here's the cool thing. As you can see down here, Jeff, my dedicated concierge, he is actually going to follow me throughout the whole experience. So at any given time, I can just schedule a call or just call him, and we can work on this together. Utility providers. So we'll be able to, in most cases, start setting up utilities for your clients. Now, one thing to take note on is we cannot turn off utilities though, okay? And don't worry, because Jeff is going to explain that whole thing to your client, but here you can see they can either do it themselves or they can just start that process with Jeff, setting up electricity, gas. We can't do trash or water, unfortunately, but again, Jeff can kind of work and navigate with your client on where to go for those things. Now, here's where it's really a powerful tool for you as a sales professional, because you're going to have insight into any conversation that your client has with their concierge. Jeff is always going to send a recap email to your client saying, hey, so I set up utilities. Don't forget to turn them off on March 15th. Here's the things that we did. We got you ready for movers, make sure they get their insurance, all that good stuff. And so Jeff will share that with your client, but you'll also be copied on that email. Now, I know some of you may be like, oh man, another email that I have to see, but actually it's a really great thing to have, because as a sales professional, maybe something you might do is say, hey, I see that you set up your utilities to start on, March 15th. That's awesome. Don't forget to turn them off on the 15th. Maybe you reach out a couple of days before. So again, just having some of that insight into your clients so that you can just follow up and provide that top tier service. Now, internet and cable. So again, this is something that they can do directly with Jeff. They don't have to sit on the phone, call the 1-800 number, stay on hold, get sent from support rep to support rep to support rep. No, they can do it all with Jeff. In fact, they can get that process started here if they want. They just click get started. They confirm their address, and then they decide what services they're interested in. Is it internet? Is it TV? And then how many people will be using the internet in the home? So we want to know how much broadband we need to make sure that there's like speed and all that good stuff, right? And so here we can say, hey, we got 4+ people in our family. What do we use it for? Do we make video calls like we're doing right now? Are we browsing the web, email, streaming videos, all that good stuff? Again, we want to make sure that we're providing the right package. Finally, what do you tend to watch on TV? I got a ton of kids, so we're going to have lots of kid shows, movies, news and local channels, all that good stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start seeing what those best options are based on that area. So for here, it looks like Xfinity is the best one. If I come down, there are likely other options like CenturyLink, HughesNet, AT&T, all that good stuff. But again, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to be on the phone for hours. I just want it taken care of. So I'm going to go reach out to Jeff and say, hey, I saw this package. I'd love to get this one. What can we do to make sure that happens? And so Jeff will be able to work with them. Now, in the home security side, this is where your client's going to see a ton of savings. And so here you'll see we've got ADT, Alder, Vivint, Simple Safe, but look at this. They are getting, in most cases, the installation cost gone, waived, nothing, nada. You heard that. They aren't having to pay for that. But even more so, you have exclusive deals partnering with us. So because you are a sales professional under Berkshire Hathaway, HomeServices, Florida, Realty, you're going to be able to help your clients save, in some cases, up to $2,000. We actually recently helped somebody save $6,000 in equipment. Now, mind you, they had a large home and they wanted a ton of cameras and all that stuff. But the reality is we can do that for your client to ensure that they get they protect that bottom line. Now, one thing I do want to call out right here is when it does come to excuse me, setting up some of these services, because we are direct service providers, there could be times that we need to ask for some personal information, like their birth date, maybe the last 4 of their social security, some of those type of things. And that is because they are working directly with that provider to make sure that it's set up. So rather than, again, calling the 1-800 number and sitting on hold for hours, we can do it there. And so one thing that I do want to call out, though, is that we are also a closed desk policy company. We're actually finalizing our what's called a SOC 2 security, which is the highest security you can have in a SaaS company, which is what we do. So that services side of things with technology. And so what does that actually mean? What are you talking about, Katie? Well, that means that we do not save any of your clients' personal information. We cannot access it again. We cannot do any of that. It gets essentially blacklisted from it, going back to it, which also means if your client is trying to like, let's say that their date changed, their close date changed, it's pushed out a week or 2 weeks, and they need to reach out to their concierge, they're going to have to ask for more information. In fact, during even the main process, every screen that the concierge has to go through, they might have to ask for it again. And again, that's because we want to ensure that your client's information is protected when it's all said and done. So that's just one thing to take note on. Now, as I mentioned, your client will be able to upload documents should they need to. So imagine tax season, right? I just did this big remodel, or I just moved. I want everything in one spot so they can add their receipts, photos, coupons, vehicle documents, any of that stuff. Very easy. All I do is click here, upload the file, call it good. So now I'm creating that one-stop shop for that seamless home ownership side of things. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about here is those trusted professionals. So again, these are going to be added at the office level to ensure that they have the top tier service. But what will happen is your client can actually take a look and see if there's something available to them. For here, I know that I do have home warranty available. So if I click on that, I can get started. I don't want to tell the professionals anything. I'm good on that front, but now I can start seeing what's available in that particular category. So let's say we've added contractors or electricians at the office and brokerage level, and those are available. Then we'll be able to provide those to your clients. So again, in 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, all of that, they will be able to access it. Now, one thing I want to call out here is when I want to actually talk with one of these vendors, I can check that box and then confirm vendors. Now listen in, everybody, on this, because I know this is always a concern. Now here at MoveEasy at Forever Concierge, we understand how sacred your contacts are to your business. We understand that every client in your database has a $ attached to it in some form or another. That could be through a direct transaction, that could be through a referral, all of that. We understand that is so important to your business. With that in mind, we never send your client's contact information to a vendor unless they click confirm vendors. At that point, we will send their information over for that particular vendor to reach out to them. Never any time before, okay? So that is actually how our company came to be. Our CEO is moving from Michigan to Ohio. He had reached out to actually only 1 or 2 moving service companies, and he got flooded with a ton of emails, phone calls, all of that. And we already know how stressful moving is. And so when you add that spamming side of things, that makes it that much more difficult. And again, it reflects off of you as the sales professional. So letting your clients know that, hey, don't worry, we're not sharing any of your information over until you confirm vendors, or you reach out to your concierge and say, yes, please connect me. So that is essentially the whole moving process. Now, this is where, in my opinion, this becomes a more powerful tool than ever before. Now, we want to stay top of mind forever, for life. We want to be the one that your client works with again, right, or refers out. Now, we've added this new button up here for the homeowner dashboard that says your next move. So when your client is ready to move, they can click on this, and what will happen is it's going to provide them with a screen that asks 3 things. First one is, what do you plan to do with your current house that you're located at? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to rent it? Where do you want to move? Are you going to move across the country? Are you going to move locally? What's happening there? And then the final part is, great, I can continue to be your real estate agent and find your next home. So they can actually notify you to let you know that we're ready to go. That is powerful, y'all. That is something that's going to be definitely a game changer to ensure that you are always top of mind. Now, as a good sales professional, what's the first thing you're going to do? Pick up that phone call and say, hey, looks like you're ready to move. Looks like you're selling your house. I can work to list that for you. I've got somebody else that's awesome in the buying market side of things. Like, we'll get you taken care of. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about a thing. So definitely something that's really powerful on that front. Now, I just want to cover one more thing, just so that you guys see the whole meal deal. So that was the client experience. Now, this is your agent dashboard. Now, I know you said, but Katie, you said that things are automated, that this is all going to happen when my client goes pending or under contract. You are right. But there might be times where you want to invite your buyer or seller early so they can access those trusted professionals, or they can get pre-approved, all of that good stuff. So this is where you can invite your buyer or seller. But you also have this client activity button. This is where you can actually see what's happening. So has your client been invited? Have they actually signed up? Did it get bounced? Did they click on it any of those things, you'll be able to see the status area so that you can ensure that your client gets access to it. Now, there's many times that your client may not have seen it because many of us get that, wake up to that flood of emails. And so what I can say is, hey, you know what, Katie, I'm going to go ahead and resend the invitation. It's going to be at the top of your inbox. Go click on it now. And you can click resend. It's right there. They can start that whole process. They can also, you can also send that app invite should you want to. And if we have time, we'll definitely cover that as well. Now, another one is the past client. So we all know that staying in flow with our past clients is so important to potentially having them as a client in the future. So this is a great way to get them access to the app, to those dashboards, all of that good stuff. Now you can do it one-off, so you can just add them, but many of us have quite a few people in our database that we want to connect with again. So I can actually invite many past clients. So I can just download the template, upload it, and our team will work to make sure all of those contacts are in there. Now, if you have a large database, it might take a couple of days, but we will make sure to take care of it. All right, the next one under, my clients is, sometimes it likes to be funny on me, is the Find My Clients Concierge. This is really powerful because there may be times where you actually want to proactively reach out to the concierge on behalf of your client. Maybe you know that they need to be connected with a painter or getting their utilities set up or whatnot. So you can actually request to contact the concierge. And here, this is Jeff. I can say, hey, Katie needs to set up her utilities. I can send that email. He's going to get it and he's going to reach out to Katie and make sure she's all taken care of. So that's another way that you can provide that top tier service for your clients. Now, there may be times where you went to that activity, the client activity, and you say, hey, I'm not sure why my client didn't receive it. They're not showing up on that spot or anything like that. So what do I do? Well, here's the area that I would highly recommend that you go to, and that is missed transactions. And so what may have happened is that we didn't have enough information to actually invite your client. So this is where you can come in here, see if that's the case. And if it is, you can click on edit and actually edit any information and ship that to your client right away. So just make sure that you utilize that or reach out to our team. We're happy to help you there. Now, my vendors, here's where you can see all those vendors that are available. Again, this is going to be at the office level, that brokerage level, so you won't be able to add your own, but you can let them know who you think should be added so they can vet them. But then you'll start seeing that big list here. So definitely provide that to your team. Now, the last one I want to show is over here under Count, My Profile. So if there's anything I recommend you doing, it is just coming to my account and making sure everything looks good. If you do need to provide a DRE number, go ahead and do that. If you want to add social media links, all that good stuff, add it. If you have your headshot from, 1991, then go ahead and add yours from 2022, all right? So you can do that here, click Update Profile, and you're all good to go on that front. So before we go to the Q&A, I'm gonna work to see if I can get this app showing for you all. So give me just 1 second. And Stacy, if there are any questions that we wanna cover right now that makes sense, we can absolutely do that as well. So just let me know.
Great,
But
thank you.
otherwise I will work to get that up.
Thanks so much, Katie. Yeah, a question actually did come in. One of the questions was, will childcare end up on the vendor list?
Ooh, that's a great question. So if at the brokerage level that makes sense to add, then you definitely can. Now, here's what's really powerful about the concierge. Now, your client's concierge is actually going to go through and have a conversation with your client to understand their needs, especially when it comes to, let's say, relocating or any of that type of stuff. Your client will be able to share that with their concierge, and they can do things like, hey, we found a couple really fabulous daycares in this area, or you need a pediatrician, great, we'll take care of that as well. We do also have a research team that can help you on that front. So if like your client goes to search for a specific vendor and it shows nothing there, there's actually a button that will say research, right? So we have a team back in Ohio that will actually research all of that on behalf of your client. Now, my phone is being very funny right now, so it does not want to connect, but I will keep trying that and we can continue down the line of questions.
So, great. Thank you for explaining that. That helps a lot. And if I recall correctly, within the trusted professionals area, is there a link over to some additional trusted professionals through a service that you recommend?
So that is a great question. So I will be completely transparent with you all. So we did have a time where we still technically partner with what's called Home Advisor. Okay. And so let me actually go ahead and go back to the trusted professionals so you can see what that looks like here. Now, what would happen is if, let's say, the brokerage level didn't have a home cleaner, we weren't able to add those. We did at one point have a relationship with Home Advisor, and we checked to see if they had somebody available to them. And what happened was back in, I believe it was August, all of a sudden we got a handful of emails and phone calls from agents who were frustrated because they felt like their client was getting inundated with phone calls. And it took us about a week and a half or 2 weeks to figure out that when your client would click on home, let's say home cleaner, that would actually be, this is a big word, so don't worry about it. It's called an API, but that whenever that got hit, they would send it back to Home Advisor, and Home Advisor would already start calling before they confirm the vendor. Now, that is not the contract we had set up with them. I had mentioned earlier that we don't send your client's information to a vendor unless they confirm it. And so once that happened, we actually stopped that relationship for this time being. Now we are going to add it back in a different way. So what's going to happen is where we can see submit request, it's actually going to be two options. And Stacey, I'll keep you posted on when this officially gets launched. It should be within the next couple of weeks, actually. What will happen is it will say, hey, would you like our team to research for you? Great, we'll do it. Or would you like to see if Home Advisor has some vendors available? When they click on that, the client will have to confirm and acknowledge that they're okay to be reached out to by them. And so it's very clear, it's very blatant, because again, we don't want them to come back to you and complaining, it feels like they sold my data, all of that. So that will come, but worst case scenario, they can hit submit request. That will go back to our team. Our team will look for top tier professionals in that category and make sure to connect your client with those professionals.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That helps a lot. So stay tuned. More on information on that from Katie and her team, and I'll make sure to share it with everybody. And I just wanted to explain the process about how clients get into this program automatically. So our forms program we have Form Simplicity, which is offered to all of our sales professionals. So if you're using Form Simplicity as transaction management, and enter your buyers and your sellers in that platform, and do your listing agreements and your contracts within the transaction management portion of Form Simplicity. Every night, a data file comes from Form Simplicity and goes over to MoveEasy and their team, and that's how your clients would end up there. But if you want to be proactive, like Katie was showing, you can always invite and add your customers to your dashboard, and they can start using the service, all branded to you as well.
Absolutely. And the technology decided to work with me, Stacey. So here is the app. And so this one, we have two versions of it. We have an agent-facing app, a sales professional app, which you'll see here. We have a client-facing app, which will be a little bit different, and I'll share that with you. So here, again, it's branded to you. They can access all their professionals. So remember, I had home warranty in particular. So here I can actually access them. I can reach out right away, all of that good stuff. I can see notifications. So if I've ever sent anything to somebody and they send it back to me, I can see that. And then there's this broadcast area. And so this one again is for you as a sales professional. This is a great way to get your client back into the app, for instance. So if you say, let's go text, right? And let's say it's back in, back at the beginning of the year, you can say Happy New Year, click done, decide who you want to send it to and ship it out. And they're going to get what's called a push notification. So when those notifications come from the top, then they'll get that. And then the idea is that they come back in it. They can respond directly to that message, and that's where you'll see the notification so that you can engage with them again. Now, rather than that broadcast down at the bottom right, they will actually see profiles. So they're going to see your information. So they'll be able to call you directly from here. They can email you, text you, but let's talk repeat and referral, my friends. Okay, so let's imagine I just had a backyard barbecue. They had connected, let's say, with a trusted professional, landscaper, all of that stuff. And mom's like, wow, this is amazing. And what I'm going to do is say, yeah, my sales professional provided this service for me. Let me go ahead and send it to you. All right, so they can actually go and email it or text it to their friends and family, and now you've organically grown your sphere of influence. So that's where repeat and referral business can definitely come in. Also, they will not see this broadcast up here. Rather, they're going to see current projects or past projects. And so who's ever been in a situation where they had work done on their home a year later, they wanted that same work done, like let's say cleaning the gutter or something like that. And I can't remember who I worked with. So what's really great about this is as a client, if I'm working with a specific vendor, it will go into the current projects, and when I'm done, it will go into past. So now I can go back to the app and I can see who I've worked with to get connected again. So I don't have to save the business cards or try to remember their contact information. So just a couple powerful ways to connect with your client. Now, one thing before we go back to questions, a couple best practices. Now, this is something that I think is really powerful, especially now with this new home ownership dashboard. You all have your own unique URL. So this is where the best practice side comes into play. Go post that URL anywhere a URL can go. Your email signature, social media, all that good stuff. Because when somebody clicks on it, they're going to actually come into a sign-up screen, and they will be able to put their information in. They can decide, are they a current homeowner? Are they planning to move? And then they'll go through different flows. You will get an email that shows that you've been connected so that you can actually reach out. So again, it's another way to generate leads. And these are good leads. They're not the ones where you're buying the zip code that you have 2 minutes to tell them like, hey, if you worked with me, this is what I'm gonna do, right? Convince them that I'm the one to work with. You won't have to do that. These are people that will see value in Forever Concierge. So those are the ones that you'll definitely want to nurture and love on and make sure that you're providing that top tier service. So definitely utilize that as another way to generate new business. All right, any other questions, Stacy?
I think you covered it all. You went over a lot of information. I really appreciate your time. This session was recorded, so I'll make sure to post the recorded version of this session on the homepage of our intranet, and I'll send it out, the link to the recording later on, definitely by Monday, end of day, to everybody that joined us.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for having me. I believe we have another session next week. So if you get back to your business and you're like, oh, I forgot to ask something, join us next week. Otherwise, you guys have a fabulous weekend, and I wish you great success in 2022.
Actually, Katie, that was awesome. Another question just came in real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
If your buyer or seller is in another state, can they also use this service?
Oh, I love that question. Absolutely. So we can cover nationwide, especially when it comes to like movers, internet, cable, all of that. So we'll be able to take care of your client, especially if they're relocating. And so you'll be able to actually provide this service to anybody and everybody on that front. And then again, if there's trusted professionals that are where they're not in your area, because likely you're not going to know, let's say, California vendors and whatnot, that's okay, because they'll be able to submit that request for our team to research and make sure to connect them with any of those vendors. So yes, anybody and everybody should have access to Forever Concierge.
That's fantastic. That's great information. I see so many potential uses for that, especially because we're here in Florida. Hopefully, somebody knows somebody who's moving to Florida. So that's
Or some
fantastic.
sunbirds. You've got two houses, right? So you've
Yes.
got your summer home and your winter home. So definitely utilize it for that.
All right. Well, thanks again. This was fantastic. And I hope everybody has a great day. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.